Okay, so hi, my name's Ronan Murdock and this is Leaving Cert Business. For my 6 years we're on page 248 and for my 5th years it's page 448. So we're going to look at liquidity now, okay? So the first thing there to look at, when you're going to get asked about liquidity, there's two ratios you need to know. You need to know the current ratio and you need to know the asset test ratio. But again, it's easy enough. Like if you're looking at the formula for the current ratio, it's just current assets divided by current liabilities and that's it. Formula for the asset test ratio, current assets minus closing stock, and you divide that by your current liabilities. So at first glance, liquidity might look really, really easy. Of course it's not, okay? So there'll be a few little things we have to look out for. And that's what we're going to do now. So this is the first video to kind of break down liquidity and what exactly it is. So if you follow me with these steps, you're going to know it inside out by the end. And big thing to know, what is liquidity, right? Liquidity is basically your ability to pay your debts as they come in. Okay, so that's all it is. So if you liquidity is just literally another word for your money and how you can pay your debts as they come in. So I remember I saw them, I wasn't watching it, okay, obviously, but my wife was. It was like a show called Love Is Blind, right? And so I was in the kitchen, I just heard it was on the TV there was a woman and she was talking to her husband and she was like, look, I've run into liquidity problems. Now, when she's saying that, I've run into liquidity problems, that's just a fancy way of her saying, I'm broke, I've no money at all. And that's all it is. And you see liquidity, if anyone ever says that, I think she had college debt, obviously I know a bit more about it than, she had a bit of college debt or something, and she was like, right, I can't pay it. But she's not going to say I'm broke, I messed up my finances, I can't pay my bills, that sounds bad. So she tries to use these euphemisms saying I have liquidity problems and that's exactly it. It's the exact same thing for a business. All right, if someone says to the business, we've got liquidity issues, it means we can't pay our bills as they're falling in. So going back to it, right, there's two ratios. You've got the current ratio, you've got the asset test ratio, okay? So the current ratio, current assets by the current liabilities, and the asset test ratio have it up here. All right, so we're going to do a really, really easy question on it first, but again, they'll get progressively harder, right? So the first thing though is let's actually follow me over here and see if you can get the basics right? So assets over here, these are good, liabilities, these are bad. Okay, so remember, even if you're talking about here these terms like that, they're an asset to us. It's a compliment. If something's really, really valuable to you. So if they're saying about a footballer, he's an asset to that team, it means he's an essential part of the team, right? But they say something like that footballer's a liability, that's a really, really big insult because it's the footballer's a negative for the team. He'll get sent off or, he'll do something stupid that'll cost you the game. So liability is anything that's really bad, it's going to cost you. Assets, things that are good to bring in value, right? So I'm going down through it here. Assets, guys, you can split them up into three different things, right? You've got your closing stock, stock you can sell, brings in money, cash in the safe, whatever, that's 40 grand, and our debtors, that's people who owe us money for 20,000, okay? So we add these three up, 140 plus 40 plus 20 gives us 200 grand. That, guys, is our current assets, okay? Now we look over our liabilities. So we've got bills for 80 grand, we've a bank overdraft for 5 grand, we've creditors for 15. You add them up, that's your liabilities there of 100 grand. Now look out for their creditors would have been if our suppliers sold us stock on credit. And let's say it's a sports shop and they sold us the stock on credit and said, look, when you get the money in for selling whatever, the football jerseys, you pay us. So they go down as a creditor because they've sold to us on credit, right? Now, what you want to spot here is a big thing students do in the Leaving Cert is they can mix these up, right? Creditors and debtors. And I can't blame them because it can be a bit confusing. So all you need to remember, when you see debtors, always remember, guys, debtors are deadly because they owe you money, and creditors are crap because you owe them money. Okay, and that's kind of just the way to split up. Debtors deadly, creditors crap. So you've got the debtors, they're good, that's money coming in. Creditors crap, money going out. Right. If you follow me up here, we'll look at the ratios needed. Okay, so the first ratio here is our current assets. Right, so I'll add up our current assets. We've got closing stock for 140,000. We've got cash for 40,000, and we've got our debtors for 20,000. We add all that up, guys. We're getting 200,000. Right, what were our liabilities? Bills, 80,000, bank overdraft 5, and our creditors 15. Add that up, you've got 100,000. Now, 200,000 divided by 100,000, the answer that's going to pop up there is 2. Your job in the Leaving Cert is you put that as a ratio of 2 to 1. And what that tells us, right, for every euro that the business owe, they've got €2 in assets. That's their current liabilities. Okay, now that's the ideal ratio. This business is flying. Ideal ratio 2 to 1, they've hit that, perfect, okay? Now, the next one is the asset test ratio. And this is a really, really important one because, I know if you're looking the first thing, you might have been right, well, liquidity shows us can we pay your bills? And we've just seen from that scenario there, the business can pay their bills, perfectly, so everything's fine. Not really, okay? So what you want to look out for is we do the asset test ratio. Because there's a big thing. When we're looking at our current assets, we've included our stock. So remember again, your current assets is going to be your closing stock, your cash and your debtors. Now you've no guarantee that your closing stock will be sold, okay? Or even you could have overvalued it. So imagine you have a sports shop and you've overvalued the price of your jerseys or anything like that. The closing stock is no guarantee. So what we do is we take the closing stock out of the picture for this question to show us really how much cash we have in guaranteed versus how much cash we have to pay out. And that's why we bother doing the asset test ratio, okay? So let's look at it here. We know from earlier, okay, our current assets here is 200 grand. And we know here, guys, our current liabilities is 100 grand. Okay, but let's calculate then our closing stock, right? So if you guys follow me over here for a second, you'll see our closing stock was 140,000. So what I do now, going back to this here, I'll take the closing stock out. So it's 140,000. So I know it's small writing there, but assets 200,000 minus closing stock 140,000. That leaves me with 60,000 here. And I put that over 100,000. The answer I'm going to get now, guys, is 0.6 to the ratio of 1. Okay, now guys, this business here is in trouble. Okay, so if you're looking at it here, the ideal ratio we see there is 1 to 1. This business is 0.6 to 1. Okay, so they're going to have trouble paying their bills as they come in, and that's what we've spotted there. Okay, so make sure when we're going down to the analysis, that's why we bother calculating the asset test ratio. Okay, so that's the first part of it. Now what we'll do, we'll have a quick look over and we'll go through our past questions on this, right? So for any of my sixth years, if you guys want to jump over to page 256 and fifth years page 56, and then even just anybody, if you're working off your past papers or whatever, you can see it there. You can get the question there on 2013, right? So in 2013, this question came up, and they asked you guys to calculate the current ratio for this business, right? So what we see there at the start was current ratio. Again, I've kind of crammed it in here. The current ratio is current assets divided by current liabilities, and we'll work that out now. So again, the first job we have here is we go down through these and we spot. See, why they didn't give it to us, really easy on a plate, like say, oh, this is current assets, current liabilities. You guys have to be able to spot that. So remember, guys, assets, anything that's good, liabilities, or anything that's bad and that's going to cost you money. Okay. So first we see assets, money coming in, liabilities, money going out. Assets, remember, debtors. They're an asset, okay? So they're dead. Debtors are dead. People owe you money coming in. Bank overdraft, that's a liability, money going out, okay? So you have to pay back a bank overdraft. Cash, that's an asset. Creditors, remember, that's a liability. And our closing stock, we can sell that, so we put that down as an asset, okay? So you've got the breakdown of them there. So if I put in the assets at the start, right? So my assets here are debtors, cash, and my closing stock. So I have 12,000, cash 15,000. My closing stock, which is 8,000, and then I add up my bank overdraft, which is my liabilities here, bank overdraft 20,000, and my creditors 50,000. All right, so we have it here 35,000. I add these three up, that gives me 35,000, and add these two up here, that gives me 7,000 here. Okay, so what I'm left with now, guys, is 1.5 to the ratio of 1. Okay, now this is my current ratio and this business is in big trouble. Okay, so remember again when we start there, the next part of the question would have been, so we've done the calculations. Remember again, put yourself in the examiner's head when you're doing these questions. What's the examiner going to look out for? The formula, we've got that in there. Okay, so make sure to spell out the formula. Then you've got your workings and then you've got the correct answer. Okay, so that's like the three big things: formula, workings, correct answer. Right, the next part of the question was comment on the liquidity position of this business. Okay, so the first thing there is you'd say they're not liquid. Okay, so we're going down through this here. They are not liquid. Again, make sure you mark in the ideal ratio is 2 to 1. Okay, so not liquid, ideal ratio is 2 to 1. They're far below that, and you can say that they'll have difficulties paying their suppliers in the short term. Okay, and they'll also have difficulty obtaining goods on credit, because their suppliers will see that they've got a very bad current ratio and they'll be looking to sell them goods on credit. So going over that again, you say they're not liquid, as the ideal ratio is 2 to 1. They're far below that. They'll have difficulty obtaining goods on credit, and they're going to have difficulty paying back their creditors. Okay, so that's that question done. Okay, thank you. So hi everybody, mine's Ronan Murdock and this leaves our business. Okay, so now we're going to keep moving on with our liquidity. So for any of my 6 years guys, can you open up page 253, and the question there, you can see it there, it's from 2019 from last year, right? My 5th years, page 53, 6th years, page 253. So if you look at the question there, you can see the question coming for 25 marks. Remember again, 25 marks divided by 2.5, we know we've got 10 minutes to do the question, okay? Remember again, it's all just habits, get the base things right with it, right? So this is written on the board here, okay? So first question there, explain what's meant by liquidity problems, okay? So remember what we're going back in the earlier video there, we're talking about liquidity problems, is that if somebody just can't pay their debts as they fall due. The inability to pay short-term debts as they fall due. So here in insert, you know, inability of a business to pay their short-term debts as they fall due. That's what liquidity problems are, okay? Next thing then we'll look at there is they want you to say calculate the current ratio and assets ratio for 2017 and 18. We'll jump into that now in a second. And then also analyse the significance of the trends, okay? So when we're looking at this question, right, this part of the question had 3 marks, this part had 16 marks, and this part of the question 6 marks, okay? So yeah, you're on that up there, that's where we got our 25 marks in that question. So far that down, we've got our 3 marks, okay? So now we're going to jump in and get our 18 marks for the calculations, okay? So look over here, we'll do the first one there. They want it for 2017 and 2018. So we'll go through the first one there for 2017, okay? So remember again, they want me to calculate current ratio, okay? So look, in current assets divided by current liabilities, okay? So in 2017, my current assets was 40,000 and my current liabilities was 20,000, okay? So I can put that over, the answer I get is 2. So remember again, 40,000 divided by 20,000, the answer I get is 2, and I put that to the ratio of 1. Okay, that was me for 2017. If I look at it for 2018 up here, I can see that my current assets was 62,500. Fire that in, 62,500, and my current liabilities was 25,000. Okay, so again, guys, using the calculator on the board, or calculator, I'll do it on the board here. 62,500 divided by 25,000. The answer is going to pop up on my calculator, guys. Is 2.5 to 1, and that's that done there. Okay, so everyone right? Not yeah, it's just fairly straightforward enough. So that's the first part of the question done. Okay, I'll look over now, and again, just following there, like remember again, the marking scheme be broken in. Like put yourself in the examiner's scenario when they're grading this question, right? So to split this out there, like they'll be looking for always the formula, the workings, and the correct answer. Okay, so we can take that in, slide in all the figures, that's fine. Okay, next one then we'll do our asset test ratio. Okay, so we already have our basic figures here. We already have our current assets, which was 40,000 and 20,000 was our current liabilities. Okay, so remember again we're doing, so I'll just slot in the figures we know. I know for 2018, I know my current assets was 62,500 and my current liabilities for 2018 was 25,000. Okay, so now all I need to do is just fire in what the closing stock was. Okay, so for 2017, the closing stock was 10,000, and for 2018, we can see there our closing stock was 42,500. Okay, so if you guys are following me over here quickly on the board, you can see it there. It's mapped out there for you guys. But yeah, so you have it up there. It's all it's all laid out for you guys there. So the next part then, the question. So you've got all the figures up there. We can jump back into it now. Next part of the question here. We'll jump down through it. So this is 30,000. See what I did again. 40 minus 10, 30,000, 20,000 here. Again, divided by each other, I get 1.5 to 1. And that's the first part of the question done. We'll look over now to the second part of the question. 60,500 minus 42,500 leaves me with 20,000. And I divide that by 25,000. And that gives me 0.8 to the ratio of 1. Okay, so looking at that there, fairly straightforward, nothing too tricky there. Again, guys, put yourself in the examiner's scenario. Okay, formula, your workings, and then the correct answer. All right. Next thing to do then, make sure, guys, again, that you'll get marks for each of these things here. Okay, so like break the question down, really, really clear. But I fire that down. I'm getting 16 out of 16. Okay. The last thing to do, right, is they want me to analyse the significance of these trends. Okay, so remember again, always when we're looking at so if you want to jump over here, we can nearly we can take this off, that's done. We can take this off, that's done. Last question, analyse the significance of these trends for Biomed Limited. Okay, so Remember again, always start off with what's happened, okay? Now, just to save on time with this, it's very straightforward, but always remind yourself, right, what's the ideal ratio, okay? We know the ideal ratio is 2 to 1, and for the acid test ratio, we know the ideal ratio is 1 to 1, okay? So we'll go through this here now. So let's look up for the current ratio. Okay, and now you literally just write this down in the exam, okay? And for any of my 6th years, if you want to look for it, you can see the sample answer there for the analysis, guys. It's on page 273, okay? So let's go through here. The current ratio increased from 2 to 1 in 2017 to 2.5 to 1 in 2018, okay? This is above the ideal ratio of 2 to 1. Literally fire that down, that's what they want there. We jump over here to the next one. We say the acid test ratio has decreased from 1.5 to 1 to 0.8 to 1. Okay, and now 0.8, this is where they currently are, is below the ideal ratio of 1 to 1. Okay, so make sure, guys, what they want you to spot there is like currently this year especially, are they below or above the ideal ratio? And just keep that in mind when you're going through those questions. One big thing as well, okay, and if I was analysing it like going through the problem, like this is a problem, right? This business is over trading, so we can say like they'll struggle to pay their debts, they fall due, and let's actually follow back and look over and let's spot what the problem was, okay? So you guys, well, let's see what the problem is here. So if you guys are looking up here, see the big issue, okay? So like here, their assets have increased, and that might look very good, but if you look at it, guys, here their assets have gone up by 30,000, but the biggest jump was here. Their closing stock went from them having 10 grand worth of closing stock to having 42,500 worth of closing stock, okay? So you see that there, guys, there's been a massive increase in their closing stock. And that's why, like, you can see their current, like, if we're looking at their current ratio, remember we were doing even in the early video there, like we saw that the big problem business has, like, too much money tied up in stock. And we saw here, that's why their current ratio shot up, and they're above the ideal ratio. When we take the stock out of the equation, you're following me over here, we see what's happened. See here, guys, their closing stock went from being 10 grand in 2017 to being 42,500. And that's what you guys want to have. You say, explain that to the examiner, make sure when they're saying comment on the trend, the big thing they're looking for there is that you guys spotted that the business had too much money tied up in their stock. Okay, and they need to shift that in order to get the money in. And that's how they're going to get that ratio. Okay, so sell the stock at a discount in order to get money in, and will be what they're looking at for. If they have too much money tied up in their stock. Okay, their stock's gone from 10 grand up to 42,000. That's the business's problem there. Okay, thanks a lot.